What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. This is what we do each and every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern. I am your host, Mistress Carrie, and hold on. This is episode 140. The intro said 139, but it is episode 140. So welcome to Cocktails in the War Room, episode number 140. You guys got sound? Everybody's okay? We're good? All right. Thank you guys for joining me each and every Tuesday night. This is a little thing we started last March 14th of 2020. We started getting together to ride out the lockdown, and now it's turned into a weekly gathering where we talk about everything from music to current events. We do charity work. We talk about the podcast. We just talk about everything that's going on. And we've basically become a family. That's what everybody in the War Room that's been here for all 140 episodes says. And basically, welcome to the War Room. If you're new, if this is your first episode, the first thing you need to do is let us know that you're here, and let us know where you're watching from, and let us know that it's your first episode so that we can welcome you into the family properly. You'll also notice if you're watching this live on my Facebook page, because we put the episodes up so that they can be streamed after the fact on my YouTube channel. If you are watching this on Facebook, I linked the dictionary, which lives in my blog at mistresscarrie.com. If you're new to the War Room, the dictionary is the glossary of terms that we have all come to use here in the War Room, our shorthand, our slang, the inside jokes. And so we don't want you to be left out by some of the jokes. So I put the link on the Facebook page to make it easier to find. And I have been trying to keep the dictionary up to date. Sometimes new terms, slang, jokes get added during the episodes, and I scramble to make sure that I get them in the dictionary after the episode is over. But if you see that I missed something, you got to let me know. Send me a message through the website, mistresscarrie.com, and let me know. All right. Okay. You and Eric need to be backstage pass holders. You guys are having inside conversations. I don't even know what's going on. Jeff says episode 140. Hell yeah. Michael's here. Jonathan's here. What's going on? Joe, Marcy, Frank, Mark, Ralph, Keith, Donna's here. Oh, you know what? Oh, I'm going to have to, my sister's here. I'm going to have to get her to grab something for me that I forgot in the other room, and I don't want to go get it. Karen! If you're new to the War Room, welcome to the highly technical intercom system that we have for communication between the rooms. If you're wondering where the War Room term comes from, I know a lot of people that have been joining me in the War Room all this time obviously know this stuff, but if you're new, I don't ever want you to feel like you're not welcome. The War Room is actually a room in my house. It is where the bar is. It's also where I keep all of my military memorabilia, stuff that I've brought back from my trips overseas, and also stuff that has been gifted to me and stuff from my family service as well. So it's been called the War Room since I moved into the house. It's just something we've always called it. And now the show is named after the room. But so my sister's here and she's in the house somewhere. And there's something that I left in the other room that, Karen! I told you this is highly technical. Will you do me a favor? There's something on my bedside table. It's a little package like this big. On the left-hand side, will you grab it for me? Hold on. If you are new to the War Room, then you may also be new to Nugget, the midget dog, Wednesday the goth pug, the side co-host, partner in crime. There she is. Say hi, Wednesday. Yes. Do you want to have a cookie? Do you want to do some tricks for everybody? Thank you. Do you want to do some tricks for everybody? Will you sit down nicely? You got to back up so everybody can see you. Sit. Good. Sit. No, back up. Sit down. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Can I have your paw? No, don't get ahead of yourself. You don't get to do all that. Sit. Back up so everybody can see how talented you are. Sit down. Sit. Don't you bite me in the face. Down. Get it back up. Down. Good girl. Can I have a high five? There you go. Good girl. We're having a play date here tonight. So Wednesday's best pal Zero is here too. There you go, Zero. So she can't be left out of the treats. What, right, Wednesday? Right, Wednesday? Do you want to have one more treat? Sit down nicely. Good girl. Down. Good girl. There you go. There you go, Zero. Zero doesn't have to do tricks for treats. She just gets them because she's cute. All right, so my sister went and got me the thing that I want to show you guys. Thank you. That I want to show you guys in the mail call later. So that's Wednesday. You can find her on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug. If you want to check out all of her pictures, she updates her Instagram herself. I don't know how she does the typing without thumbs, but she figures it out. What's going on, Lisa? Hey, Mike. He said, oh, what a beautiful pug. I have two myself. She's amazing. And I got to tell you, as any pet owner knows, through the lockdown, that they have just been so much more important than normal because we couldn't really go anywhere and we couldn't really do anything. So I had full-blown conversations with Wednesday through the lockdown. I don't have any more cookies, darling. They're all gone. I brought some of your favorite toys, though. Do you want to play with your Yoda? Come over here and play with your Yoda. See? There you go. Love the Yoda. There you go. You want that? Here. What do you want, the creepy spot? There she goes. Oh, boy. It's only a matter of time before she starts knocking the pillows off the couch, too. So Wednesday is so cute. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Karen, says Tracy. New from the Dirty Berg. What's up, Linda? Well, thank you for coming to Cocktails in the War Room. We got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. A lot of great news. Great. Now everyone is throwing paws at me for high five treats in my house. I apologize if I'm when everybody else's animals hear Wednesday's squeaky toys, her crinkly toys. I know it drives all the other animals crazy that are joining us in the War Room. So. Lisa. So that's the first thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to say hey to everybody that I got to see on Saturday night at the DJ welcome party at Rascals in Worcester. Mike Shue, Chuck Perks, and I had an awesome time. The city of Worcester proclaimed the Pike the official rock station of the city of Worcester, which is amazing, and also proclaimed it 100 FM the Pike Day on Saturday, which was very cool too. We got an official proclamation. It was really awesome. And it was so cool. And, you know, I know your names from the scroll here in the War Room. And depending on what it is that you have as your profile picture on Facebook, that's what I see. It's so nice that I'm actually able to start meeting you guys and seeing you multiple times because we're able to go out and do things. So getting to know you guys in real life as opposed to just through the War Room has been awesome. And so I want to thank everybody that came out to the DJ welcome party. We had an absolute blast. And it was so nice to be in the same room with Mike Shue and Chuck Perks and for all of us to be able to hang out together. And it's only the beginning. So welcome, Linda, also from the Dirty Berg, says Jeff. Had a blast. Thank you, says Richard. Sup, Carrie. Did you ever figure out who that band was from 2 weeks ago? I have not yet, Jason. What I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to post the picture up on my Facebook page and ask that question and put it up on my Instagram and on my Twitter. I think I need to cast a broader net and try to figure it out. I was trying to avoid that because I would hate for the band to see that I'm trying to figure out who they are. So I really didn't want to have to do it, but it's driving me crazy. So what's up, Michelle? Bummed I had to miss it. Looked like a great time, says Melissa. It's not the last time we're all going to get together, so don't worry about it. This is just the beginning. What's up, Michael? Yes, we did know each other beforehand, but it was nice to see you though. Dirty Berg, please explain to the ignorant old folks like me. Okay, Michael. So when you grow up in Leominster, the rival in sports and everything else is Fitchburg. And so people in Leominster call Fitchburg the Dirty Berg. So that's all it is. It's not an old fart thing. It's a localized sports rivalry, especially the football teams. That's the big Thanksgiving game is Leominster High versus Fitchburg High. And so people in Leominster call Fitchburg the Dirty Burg. So there you go. Cheers to you guys. So you may have noticed that I wasn't on the air today. I had jury duty today, which was interesting because I went there, reported for jury duty. And then they sent us home, really. So I got to run some errands today, which was great. I got a coffee. I went to Home Depot because there was time. And so I got the day off from being on the air because I was supposed to go to jury duty and we didn't know how late I was going to be. So I fulfilled my civic obligation. On to the next thing. Let's see. You need to get them from the war room with you again. I don't know what you mean, William, but get who? I did notice Danny says, thank you very much. Carrie, are you doing any of the Aaron Lewis shows up at Hampton Beach on the 22nd or the 23rd? I don't know yet because it's been insane. The schedule with concerts and everything else that's going on, the recording schedule with the podcast, the radio show. When we go through the events coming up in a bit here on the show, there's a lot going on. I'm hoping to make one of the shows. I also want to see Stained open up for Korn down at the Xfinity Center. Mark says, Jesus, imagine the defense attorney with you handing in the verdict. I am one of those people that gets called for jury duty every 3 years, like clockwork, almost to the day. And it's been like that since I was 18 years old. Like literally a month after I turned 18, I got summoned to jury duty. And I have been summoned to jury duty every 3 years ever since. I almost got put on a jury, and come to find out, I knew one of the arresting officers, which was hilarious. And it was a murder trial, actually. And I knew the cop that actually arrested the murderer, who was found guilty. And they excused me from the jury because I had made it through all of the other qualification things. And then they had to give us a list of the witnesses that were going to be appearing in the case. And then we had to disclose if we knew any of them. And I actually knew one of the cops. And I was like, yeah, I kind of know the cop that. And so they excused me from jury duty, but that was pretty close. So, I grew up in Leominster. I'm still a Devils fan, says Michael. Hey, Carrie, good to see you live. What's up, Cheryl? Will you be at the Black Crows? Melissa wants to know. There would have to be something catastrophic to happen for me to not be there, not only because I'm a massive Black Crows fan, but because the guys from Dirty Honey are opening up the show, and I want to see Dirty Honey on a stage that big at the Xfinity Center. I've seen them at the Palladium. Of course, they played acoustic on my show. But they're one of those bands that I've known since the very, very beginning. And there's something about seeing these bands graduate to bigger and bigger venues. And I do not want to miss Dirty Honey opening up for the Black Crows. On the Coda Collection, by the way, I know we're going to get to music news in a bit, but speaking of the Black Crows, the Coda Collection, which is kind of like the music channel on Amazon's on-demand video, they have a new Black Crows documentary that they filmed during the Brothers of a Feather acoustic tour. So if you didn't get to see the tour at the Brighton Music Hall, which was literally the Wednesday night before AAF went off the air, Mike Shue and I went with our boss, Joe, and all the other people from the station. It was fantastic. And there is a new documentary called Brothers of a Feather, I believe, that's on the Coda Collection if you're a big Black Crows fan. I haven't watched it yet, but it's up there now. So Betty says, I've never been called for jury duty. That's insane. Oh my God, Mark. Yeah, I could bring Maddie Blake to the Black Crows, but I'd have to bring bail money, I think. Saw White Zombie at the Wallace Civic Center in Fitchburg in 95. Yeah, exactly. The Wallace Civic Center used to have all those shows. Korn, Marilyn Manson. I saw the Smashing Pumpkins there. Let's see. Glad you're back on the radio, says John. Thank you very much. It's good to be back. Hey, Sandy. So Sandy just relocated to Florida, and wait, where's Karen? Will you bring me that thing that Sandy made for me? Karen's she's like my roadie. You guys remember that Saturday Night Live skit where Eddie Van Halen and Valerie Bertinelli were having Thanksgiving dinner and they kept calling the roadie in? I feel like that's what's happening. So Sandy used to live in my neighborhood and she just sold her house and she moved away and she came over to say goodbye because we've lived near each other for a long time. And she made this for me. And I wanted you guys to see it, and I forgot to bring in all of the props for the War Room. I remembered everything else but the props this week. Check this out. She made it. She did all of that beadwork herself. Is this not the coolest fucking thing ever? And when she gave it to me, she didn't know that I have a skull collection, like all different skulls. I've got dozens of them, and they're on this piece of furniture in my dining room, because that's not odd at all that you have a skull collection in your dining room. Like, what would be weird about that? So she brought it over and like, I am so in love with it. It is so fucking cool. So Sandy, you're the bomb and we missed you, but it's so cool. Thank you. My prop master over there. Let's see. That's a work of art, says Paula. I know. So glad you love it. Sandy says, yeah, it's amazing. Love the skull, says Jeff. Me too. Let's see. That's pretty cool. Put some eyes that glow in it, says Heinz. Let's see. That same show was my first concert too. No way. It's beautiful, way cool, the coolest. I seriously get my blue and white postcard for jury duty to say that I'm eligible. Yeah, it's insane. I don't know why other people don't get called for jury duty, but I get called for jury duty all the time. I will give you guys a tip because I get jury duty so often that I've learned. Go to jury duty with a power strip. If you want to make friends, go to jury duty with a power strip, because it's the first thing in the jury pool that everybody does, like the airport, is scope out where the outlets are for like their computers and stuff. And I always go to jury duty with a power strip in my bag, and you would be amazed. People will buy you lunch. People will share snacks. It's unbelievable, like how friendly all of a sudden something like jury duty can become if you bring a power strip with you. Or even like a little 10-foot extension cord and a power strip. I'm telling you, it's a game changer if you ever go to jury duty. Eric says, never had it. I get called all the time too, says Mickey. I know. What's up, Mickey? Never been called either, and I'm 50. Melissa, that's bullshit. I get called all the time. Last time I was called for jury duty was like 13 years ago, says Mark. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I guess I'm just that person that is responsible. And you know, I don't mind it. You know, I look at it like, if I ever got falsely accused of a crime and arrested and was being held in jail, and what stood between me and a false conviction was a bunch of people too dumb to get out of jury duty, that's really not how the system's supposed to work. So I actually don't mind going. It's just boring unless you actually get called to be put on the jury. But they call so many more people than they need. One year we sat there all day. Like, they didn't let us go early. And one of the judges came in at the end of the day, and everybody was kind of ornery and kind of aggravated because we literally were just sitting there all day. And the judge came in to thank us for doing our duty. And everybody was like, we didn't do anything. And the judge made a really good point. She said that you may think you didn't do anything, but you have no idea how many plea deals got negotiated today, because the threat of a jury being in the next room was always there. And so rather than people saying they were not guilty and taking their chance with a room full of strangers, they copped pleas to be able to just get it over with and hopefully get a little bit lighter of a sentence. So she said, you may feel like you didn't do anything, but you are an intimidating force being on the other side of the wall from these people that are sitting down with attorneys. And so that kind of made me feel a little bit better. So there's my spiel on jury duty. I sat in Fitchburg all day and then was told to go home. Kathy, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so we got a lot to talk about. So let's recap last week's episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast, episode 57, featuring Danny and Waddy from the band The Immediate Family. Now, if you guys did what I told you to do last week here in the War Room and Google the guys from the immediate family and Google the session group that they are called The Section, their rock and roll resume is unparalleled. It's amazing. And getting to talk to these guys just about how it is that they craft a song and how they look at playing for the different artists. I love the Keith Richards story that Waddy told about Jumpin' Jack Flash. I just thought it was really cool to be able to talk to these guys that we've all heard. We've heard dozens and dozens of the songs that these guys have either written, produced, or played on. We just didn't know about them because they were always the guys in the background. And Melissa says blown away by them. Lisa said it was great. What's up, Heidi? So with the podcast, I always want to be bringing in new people, different people, and they don't always have to be the biggest and most famous rock stars to have interesting stories. These guys are part of rock and roll royalty. And when you find out who they are and you talk about them around other musicians, they go, whoa, like those guys are big time. And these are the kind of people that I wanted to be able to introduce you guys to. This is why I wanted to start the podcast. And I just thought they were so interesting. I wish I could have talked to them longer, but they were doing a bunch of press and I could only get them for like a half hour, 40 minutes, something like that, which happens sometimes. And I had like another like page and a half worth of questions that I wanted to talk to them about. No name drops, but anvil drops with the best musicians. Exactly, Thomas. Like when you start talking to guys at this caliber that have been playing, same thing with like Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick or Alice Cooper, guys that have been around, when they start saying things like Mick and Keith and Ringo, and you're like, what? Like Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Ringo Starr, like those same ones. You understand that you're kind of functioning on a whole other level. And these guys are those guys. They're the guys that get called in by the best of the best of the best. So I loved talking to them. If you haven't checked out the episode yet, you definitely want to check it out. They also said they're going to be hitting the road and they're hoping to hit the East Coast by the end of the year. And as soon as they get some dates booked, I will let you know because I just can only imagine. Not only do they have original songs, but they play all of the songs that all of the different band members either wrote, produced, or played on. So it's like a rock and roll greatest hits concert. And I love what we talked about in the podcast about they're a cover band that plays originals. And I thought that was really funny the way that they brought that up because it's true. They're playing quote unquote cover songs, but they're all their own songs. So hey, get out of there, you. I just got a stash of dog cookies in case I need to get the dogs over here later. Carrie, does your armband tattoo go all the way around? Yes, of course it goes all the way around, Andy. I'm no pussy. Come on now. And it's an interlocking phrase, so it had to go all the way around. And I heard, oh, wow, that's going to hurt a lot. Then I heard there's some superstition about how if you connect the band, then like in your next life, your arm is going to be missing or something. I don't know. But yes, it goes all the way around. I know there's a lot of people that think like armbands are old school and they're dated or whatever, but it had to go around something because it's a phrase that feeds into itself. So unless I put it like around my neck, around my leg, around my torso, it had to go around something. So I just put it on my arm. And it's very personal. It's Morse code. I told you guys about that. It's just suns and moons and stars. The suns and the moons are the dots and dashes. And the stars kind of separate the thought. But it's a tattoo that I got from my grandfather, who was the radio operator in World War II. So thank you for asking. Yes, it does go all the way around. They are the new Wrecking Crew, Waddy and Danny, behind the scenes forever. I know, Chuck. It's insane. They have played with everyone. And the Section, I mean, if you're an artist and you were looking for help, songwriting, playing in the studio, they were like those hired guns that everybody respected. And so getting time to talk to those guys was awesome. It was a total thrill. I was honored to speak to them. And I can't wait until they come to town. That brings me to this week's podcast guest, which is huge. I'm so excited. Episode 58 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight Wednesday. What are you doing? Do you want to come say hi to everybody? Come here. Come here. Come say hi to everyone. Do you want to say hi? You make some pug noises in the microphone? Huh? No? You want to get down? Okay. Episode 58 of the Mistress Carrie podcast is Dean motherfucking DeLeo from Stone Temple Pilots. Ah! Stone Temple Pilots are getting ready to reissue Tiny Music Songs from the Vatican Gift Shop coming up in a couple of weeks. Yes, that's the dog right now. Hold on. Let me put... Hey. What are you doing? What? Are you looking for cookies? Is that what you want? Can you sit nicely? Down. Good girl. Good girl. Here, Zero. You get one too. I got a whole little audience of dogs in here. All right. Wednesday, you're taking over the announcement. We're talking about Dean DeLeo from Stone Temple Pilots. So Stone Temple Pilots is getting ready to reissue Tiny Music Songs from the Vatican Gift Shop, and it's the 25th anniversary of the record. So it's reissued, it's remastered. They're releasing live performance stuff. The guys from STP have done a really good job over the years of reissuing their albums with all kinds of bonus content, vinyl. There's a whole line of Tiny Music merch that's up on a store at stonetemplepilots.com. And getting to talk to Dean DeLeo, not only about the reissue, but we talked about a lot of stuff. We talked about some of his favorite memories with Scott Weiland and Chester Bennington. We talked about his early years growing up with Robert and his other brothers and sisters. He talked about the first band that he was in. You guys are not going to believe. So his first guitar, his nice guitar, his mom bought him when he was a teenager. And you are not going to believe what he did with that guitar. I don't want to give anything away. We'll talk about it next week in the War Room. But I asked him, do you still have the same guitar that you got when you were a kid? And he said yes. And wait until you hear what he did with it and what songs he's written with it. It's pretty awesome. Wednesday, Wants to Hang with STP. Exactly. Such a great album. I am at the Xfinity Center in Chicago. No way, Will. Who are you going to see? What's up? Why are you in Chicago at the Xfinity Center? What show are you at? I remember the interview with Weiland on WAF. Crazy. I was there. I have a picture. It's up in my artist archive on this Facebook page. I believe it's with Dean and Scott Weiland. The playlist is going to be amazing. Mark, you have no idea. Because when he started talking about the music that was blaring out of multiple rooms in his house when he was growing up, this playlist, every full-length episode of the podcast has a corresponding playlist. The playlist for this episode is all over the place. It's very diverse. I'll give you that. He was awesome. And if you guys were at the Stone Temple Pilot show at the House of Blues in Boston that they played with Chester Bennington, you want to hear what he had to say about that show because he remembers that gig. And we talked a lot about that, actually. Marcy says, I miss Scott. Absolutely. I remember your interview with Weiland on AAF. Crazy. Brett, that was one of the only times I had a negative interaction with an artist ever. I mean, in the 23 years that I've been doing band interviews, that was the first time or was it the second time? I've only had 2 interviews that went poorly. Let's see. What a tragic story. Weiland's story was, unfortunately, listening to him at that time was totally unpredictable. Exactly. I absolutely love Dean DeLeo. I've talked to him multiple times. He is so humble, so genuine, so approachable. He's down to earth. He I asked him a lot of questions about how he writes songs, how he plays guitar. His answers were crazy. I've never met anybody that learned how to play the guitar and who writes songs on the guitar the way that he does. And he is just gracious and very forthcoming and candid, and he is just kind of an open book, and he is so easy to talk to. And I just love talking to him, and I can't wait for you guys to hear this episode of the podcast. Acoustic Interstate Love Song in the AAF studio is my all-time favorite. Yeah, absolutely. I remember that in chemistry class in high school when the teacher asked what STP was, and I raised my hand and said Stone Temple Pilots instead of standard temperature and pressure. I got detention for that. So yeah, I think you guys are going to love this episode. The reissues are amazing. And like I said, you can get all the details on the reissues, and you can pre-order them right now on stonetemplepilots.com. Let's see. Michelle says, how's work going, babe? Everything's good. Hey, Penny, what's going on? So I'm super excited. There's some really good podcast interviews coming in the next few weeks that I'm super stoked about. So this is episode 58. And it goes live at midnight. I want to thank our sponsors, Digital Federal Credit Union and also Jumptown Skydiving. Digital Federal Credit Union you can find at dcu.org. If you are looking to get a new car or refinance your car or get a used car, DCU wants to help you with that. And Jumptown Skydiving, if you have always wanted to go jump out of a plane and knock it off your bucket list, go to jumptown.com and get all of the details. It'll answer all of your questions. And I will see you in the skies. Don't forget, if you subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, you also get the Sit Rep, which is all of your music news, rock headlines, entertainment info, and you get it all in less than 5 minutes. I've been reading a lot about podcasting and how it's changing and how the pandemic affected people's listening patterns and all of that. And one of the things that they're saying is short content podcasts are growing. And because the Sit Rep is a feature of the Mistress Carrie podcast, there are 5 Sit Reps a week. And I am noticing that more and more people are checking out the Sit Rep, which is awesome, because if you want to stay up to date with all of the news on everything and you just don't have a lot of time to do it, what do you have? You can just subscribe to the Mistress Carrie podcast, and in 5 minutes, I'm going to fill you in on concert updates, music news, television stuff, concerts, mergers, band breakups, like all of that kind of stuff. And you're going to get it in less than 5 minutes. So it's not a huge commitment. And at the end of it, you're like, all right, I feel like I know what's going on for the day. And then I always, in the show notes of the Sit Rep, put the links to the full stories. So if you are interested in one of the stories as opposed to the rest of them, you can always go and click the link and get more. Let's see. You can barely fit your face in. Oh, into this? Yeah. Here's all the outlets, or not even all the outlets, but a lot of the outlets where you can listen to the Mistress Carrie podcast. There's a lot of them, and it's growing all the time. So it doesn't matter where you listen to your podcast. You can search whatever podcast app you use, or if you don't have any of the podcasting apps at all, just go to mistresscarrie.com, click on whatever episode you want, and there's a player right there. You just hit play, and you can listen to them right off the website. I want to go skiving for my 36th next month. Mark, it's not that hard. We can make that happen. I believe the weight limit is 240 pounds. And you just got to be willing to get on the plane and get out. It's pretty easy. It's awesome. Wear shoes that tie too. Let's see. I remember meeting you at the AAF Big Day Out. Oh my God. In 2001, that was the big field day, Johnny. Was that the year that I got some of the cops in trouble because I put like their uniform on and went out and told everybody I was going to arrest them? I got a bunch of the cops in Brockton in trouble that year. After this, listening to the podcast, hell yeah. Heidi, there's a lot of great episodes. And if you go to the front page of mistresscarrie.com, I separated out the weekly episodes from the sit reps to make it easy for you to go back and find a past episode that you're looking for. So you don't have to scroll through all of the sit reps to get to like episode 13 of the podcast that you were looking for or whatever. So I separated it out on the website. Hey, what are you doing? Do you want this? Huh? Or do you want the spider? Bite it in the face, Wednesday. Bite the spider in the face. Rah. It is weird seeing her walk around with that giant spider in her mouth, isn't it? She has been, because we haven't been able to take her to take her outside and really get her running around a lot because she hates the rain. She has been super snuggly and like begging for attention the last few days. And what do you have? Give me that spider. Give me it. Just in case you're wondering if she plays with all of the toys that you guys spoil her with, she does. All of them. Weirdo. So what were we talking about? Oh, we're talking about the podcast. Wednesday, are you going to hang out here or can I change the slide? What are you doing? Do you want the stingray? You love the stingray. Sorry if your dogs just jumped at the squeakers. So here's a lot of the places you can check out the podcast. Let's look at the podcast locations. Still holding strong at 109 countries. And for another week in a row, Canada is number 2. I will tell you that India has cracked the top 5. What I mean by that is outside of the United States, what countries are listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast the most? It goes Canada, England, Australia, Germany, India. It's just crazy. But there's 109 countries overall. So thank you to everybody that's helping to share all of the episodes and for helping to spread the word about the Mistress Carrie podcast. Let's talk about some of the music headlines and some of the stuff that's going on. Unfortunately, the Deftones have once again postponed their tour with Gojira. And the dates have been updated. They had 2 dates, one at Mohegan Sun and one at the Agganis Arena. But the entire tour has been postponed. So if you go to the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com, all of those dates have been updated. Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys is making his directorial debut, and he's going to be directing a documentary about Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Dr. John, who was the famous New Orleans jazz musician. And Dan Auerbach just has this huge love of blues and jazz. That's where the latest Black Keys album came out. It's all blues covers because it's in tribute to all of the blues greats that they love so much. So Dan Auerbach from the Black Keys, who is also a very accomplished music producer, is also going to be producing and directing the documentary about Dr. John. Robbie Krieger from The Doors is writing his autobiography, and it is coming out on October 12th. So if you are a fan of rock star autobiographies like I am, you're going to want to put that one on your reading list. Nikki Sixx's book is also coming out. It's called The First 21, and that's coming out on October 19th. They also just put the finishing touches on a new 6 a.m. song, so we're supposed to get that soon. They haven't announced exactly when that's going to happen. If you're not following Mark Hoppus from Blink-182 on social media, I would. He revealed a couple weeks ago on social media that he is fighting cancer. And he has been undergoing treatment, and he is now bald, and put up a really funny post asking for hats to keep his giant bald head warm. And he put up a post recently saying that this week he was supposed to be getting some news about what path they were taking when it comes to his cancer treatment, whether it was going to be a bone marrow transplant or whether they were going to be doing chemo and radiation as a combination. And he was talking about it on social media like it's crazy to think that I'm going to have a meeting this week that's going to determine the outcome of my life based on this treatment. And I just thought it was really amazing that he is being so open and so honest in this fight, because he even said it in some of his earlier posts that he's scared to death. I mean, he's got a cancer diagnosis. It's like the worst thing that anybody is going to hear come out of a doctor's mouth. And I think it's really inspiring that he is choosing to talk about it publicly, because why hide it? And the overwhelming wave of support that he's receiving on social media. I mean, I even tweeted at him and said, I'd love to send you one of my knit hats. I just need an address and I'll send it to you. So if you're not following him, I would definitely follow him either on Twitter or Instagram or both, because he's definitely kind of putting himself out there, and he doesn't know right now what the outcome of his treatments is going to be. So, Ice Nine Kills made a big announcement. They have a new album coming out called The Silver Scream 2, Welcome to Horrorwood. The new album is coming out on October 15th, and they just released a new video, and it has Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach in it. So you can check that out, not only on the on the Ice Nine Kills website, but also on all their social media as well. And of course, Spencer Charnas was on an episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast earlier. Iron Maiden has got something going on the 15th, and they haven't really said what it is yet. But a couple days ago, Bruce Dickinson made a video from the balcony of a theater, and he had a t-shirt that looked like an old horror movie poster about Belshazzar's feast. And he was yelling from the balcony, inviting everyone to Belshazzar's feast. And they gave the date of July 15th. I have no idea what they're talking about. There's a lot of speculation online that it's an announcement about a new Iron Maiden album. It could be a live record. It could be an event or some tours. I don't know the answer to that. Although Iron Maiden did just recently come out with a partnership with Igloo Coolers, and you can actually get an Igloo Cooler with Eddie from Iron Maiden on it, because Iron Maiden has their beer, the Trooper, and so they wanted to make a beer cooler to keep the beer cold, and it's fucking badass. So I don't know if Belshazzar's Feast has something to do with that, but just expect later on this week that there's going to be a big announcement from Iron Maiden coming. Mom just turned 80 on the 7th. She's bald from chemo, says Michael. Eric says, fuck cancer. I wish him the best outcome possible. Everybody knows somebody that has battled cancer or is battling cancer or has lost their battle with cancer. It's impossible for you to make it through life without knowing someone. And I think it's really easy for people to think that, a guy like Mark Hoppus, with all of the records that Blink-182 has sold, I think that people think, oh, well, when you're that famous and you have that much money that you don't have to worry about anything. And this just goes to show you that that's not the case at all. And so obviously the rock community is rallying around Mark Hoppus. And, just this past weekend was Ronnie James Dio's birthday, and the celebration that all of his friends had, and the fundraiser for the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. I mean, we've lost so many amazing musicians to cancer, and friends and family members. And so like I said, I just think that it's amazingly selfless that Mark Hoppus is talking about this, because I think it makes people that know someone that is going through cancer treatment, or people that have gone through it themselves, I think it makes you feel like it's not this secret, this taboo thing that you're not allowed to talk about, that you should be able to talk about it and receive all of the support you need. We just went through a hell of an 18 months, and then to come out of that and then be trying to get your band on the road and all of that, and then to get a cancer diagnosis and to be going through all of that. My wife did 3 years ago, says Jeff. Cancer can eat a bag of dicks, says Mark. Exactly. Lost my girlfriend last year in April, says Mike. I can't imagine. And Mike, that was happening right at the beginning of the pandemic too. And, you were one of those people that, how do you mourn properly when the world is upside down? It's near impossible. My daughter and I have been going through it for the last year, says Joe. Maternal aunt, my mom, 3 out of my 4 sisters have survived breast cancer, says Melissa. I mean, it's insane how many people. Money don't mean shit. We're all human. Exactly. My dad had colon cancer, had surgery and chemo, and he's cancer-free 9 years. Marcy, that's amazing. Cheers to your dad. Absolutely. Elsa says, my one friend died of cancer. She was only 36. Lisa said, my mom died. She was 69. So, yeah, we're all sending you love, Mark, and we hope that you're feeling better. So, just kick its ass, man. And he said in his last post that he's planning on kicking cancer's ass right in the nuts, he said, actually, which was pretty hilarious. Don't forget, this coming Saturday is Record Store Day. So if you're going to be out running around doing whatever, the Dark Desert Eagles are playing at Indian Ranch, whatever it is that you're doing on Saturday, wherever you are, Google find a local independently owned record store. That's what Record Store Day is. It's musicians gathering and rallying around trying to support and keep in business independently owned brick and mortar record stores. And bands are releasing limited edition vinyl, collectibles, reissues, live albums, all of this kind of stuff that you can only buy in person at Record Store Day. Record Store Day is also where you're going to be able to get the new Foo Fighters record by the Dee Gees, which is their alter ego. The album is called Hail Satin. One side of it is all Bee Gees covers, which the Foo Fighters just released the actual performance video for You Should Be Dancing by the Bee Gees. And then the other half of the album is live recordings of songs off of their latest album, Medicine at Midnight. So if you are a huge Foo Fighters fan, that album is coming out on Saturday, and you can only get it at independently owned record stores. There's also some live streams. Beartooth has a live stream coming up tomorrow. And then on Friday, Anthrax has been doing all of this amazing. So if you're an Anthrax fan or just a rock fan in general, go and check out the Anthrax YouTube. They have been doing all of these episodes talking about all their different records, interviewing the band members, interviewing friends, talking about the 40-year legacy of Anthrax. I even asked Rob Caggiano from Volbeat a couple weeks ago on the podcast because he spent a lot of years in Anthrax as well. And so Anthrax has this big 40th anniversary live stream that is coming up on Friday night. The Beartooth and the Anthrax live streams, their details are on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com with the link so you can get tickets and watch them. But I've always been an Anthrax fan, back to the I'm the Man days. And I think this documentary series that they've been doing, documenting every one of their albums and talking about the legacy and the history of the band, is really cool. And they've got a lot of years behind them. It's amazing to me that Anthrax is celebrating their 40th anniversary. It's crazy. Crazy. I got a bunch of events I want to talk to you guys about. This is just announced today. The Ashby Cornhole Tournament is coming up next Saturday, July 24th. The event is happening from 10 to 4. It's being hosted by United Cultivation in Ashby, and I am going to be there from 2 to 4 that day. So if you want to come and hang out, you can do a little shopping. But the cornhole tournament is happening. Details on that are up in the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com. But it's a great, if you're looking for a reason to get out on the bike, you want to take the hot rod out for a spin, you're just looking for a place to go. You want to take advantage of the laws here in the Commonwealth. Meet me at United Cultivation in Ashby from 2 to 4 on Saturday, July 24th. I'm also going to be making a trip down south to Nashville. I'm going to be appearing at Rock and Pod, which is the rock podcast convention that's happening in Nashville the end of the first week of August. So I'm really excited about that. It is open to the public. So if you guys know anybody that is down in the Nashville area, they can actually get tickets. Go in. There's dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of podcasts that are going to be down there. There's a bunch of musicians. They're having panels. They're bringing in people for interviews. I'm definitely going to be doing some interviews down there for upcoming episodes of the podcast. So that's happening in August, Rock and Pod. And then I'm also going to be set up at the Boston Wounded Vet Run, which is coming up on September 19th. It leaves out of Boston Harley and finishes at Anthony's of Malden. So these are 3 places that I am definitely going to be at. So if you're looking to come and hang out with me, the details on all of these are on the events calendar. There's also a couple of events that I want to tell you guys about, and these are also up on the events calendar. Coming up on Thursday, July 20th, so next week, it's a night of comedy for the Familia family. Now, you'll remember Officer Manny Familia was a member of the Worcester Police Department. He was trying to save a 14-year-old from drowning during the heat wave that we had. And he was able to pull the 14-year-old out, but he died later at the hospital, and Officer Familia drowned that day. And so the Worcester police officers have gotten together, and I believe the Mass State Police have got together, and there is a huge list. Everybody from Lenny Clark and Tony V, all of the guys that are listed on that, Christine Hurley. Tickets are available. It's up on the event calendar for the link and everything, but the event is happening at Polar Park, and it's happening. It's next Tuesday. Sorry, not next Thursday. It's next Tuesday. So if you want to go out and support, it's next Tuesday, a night of comedy for Familia. And then also coming up on August 1st is if you were able to get a copy of Andy Biggio, The Rifle, he's doing a rifle signing, and he's got, I think, 36 World War II veterans, including a bunch of them that are cited in the book and whose stories are told in the book, that are going to be there to sign copies of the book as well. And so I wanted to make sure that I put the plug out for that you can go, if you already bought a copy of the book, you can go and get it autographed. And it's happening at the American Heritage Museum, which is kind of on the Hudson Stowe line. But if you are a World War II aficionado or just somebody that loves military history, there's vehicles and aircraft and all kinds of stuff there. And they're having an official book signing there. And I wanted to make sure that I passed along all of the info for that. But like I said, all of these events that I always talk about in the War Room, they're all listed on the events calendar at mistresscarrie.com, so that you guys always have a place that you can go. Okay, so nothing came in the mail this week. But this was the thing that I had to ask my sister to go and get because I forgot it in the other room. So when I went to, I got to figure out which foot. So when I went to Rascals on Saturday night for the DJ welcome party, I saw Rachel. I don't know if Rachel's here in the War Room with us, but she texts me all the time during my radio show. So she came to the show and she was like, I wanted to meet you. I was going to mail these to you, but now I can just give them to you in person. So Rachel bought me socks. And yes, I have 2 different size feet. I know. See? These socks are the fucking best, Rachel. Thank you. Hilarious. So I wanted to put them on so you guys could see them, but I have fuck off socks now. It's amazing. Michelle. Are we going to talk about that in the birthdays? For Clarence. So we got to talk about that. So thank you, Rachel, for my fuck off socks. They're fantastic. There's the address for the mail call if you need it. I want to let you guys know that the new black coffee mugs are in. Orders are coming in. They're getting shipped out really quickly. I told you guys last week there was going to be a Christmas in July sale, and it is happening now through the end of the month. If you use that code JulyXmas15, you will get 15% off of the Christmas ornaments that are in the online store. They come in black and purple. So if you want to take advantage of some discounted Christmas ornaments, literally in the middle of the year when no one wants to even fucking think about Christmas, Merry fucking Christmas in July, and you can get a deal on the Christmas ornaments because they're 15% off through the rest of the month. So this code is good for the rest of the month. And for anybody that has a Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, they always get codes for other stuff too. I always make the codes usable together. So if you get a code for discounts off the black coffee mugs and then you get a code for discounts off of the ornaments, they both work so that you can get the discounts on everything. So there you go. So that's what's new in the store right now. Now we got to talk about Clarence. Happy birthday, Clarence. Clarence turned 100 years old on July 8th. Andy Biggio actually went and visited Clarence. And we got word from Michelle that they got almost 200 birthday cards for Clarence, which is so freaking awesome. So thank you guys for everybody that sent Clarence birthday cards. We took pictures. Andy Biggio did. Hope and Carrie will put them up tonight to show you all. Michelle, I downloaded them on my phone and I couldn't get them up on the show tonight, but I will do it next week. I'm sorry that I didn't get the pictures up, but I wanted to thank everybody for sending the cards. And I'm glad he loved my card. I had this little kid picture with like aviator glasses with like a flag as a cape. And I saw it and I just thought he would get a kick out of it. So let's see. Melissa says, normally stuff I send gets there in a day or two. No words needed. Just put up your feet, says Hines. What's going on, Jamie? Jamie, can you believe the 15-year anniversary of Iraq is coming up this September? It's crazy. And 10 years for Afghanistan. It's just crazy. Donna said, do you have a transaction number to track it? There's nothing at the post office right now. So, but I'll have no problem going back and checking. So let's see. It's still my unbirthday. Keith, go in and look at the dictionary, Keith, because I put something up there for you. I will post the picture of Clarence with the rifle in the group tonight. Okay. I'm so sorry I didn't put those pictures up. I meant to do it. I looked at them on my phone and then I never sent the pictures. I have to build the war room on a computer and I never sent the pictures from my phone into the computer and then I didn't get to post them up tonight. So I'm sorry that I didn't get them up. Mark says, I love the socks. Do they have a size 15? I have no idea. Many of them made my dad cry, but happy. Keith, I'm so happy that your dad got a lot of birthday cards and that we were able to help commemorate such a huge milestone. I mean, to be a human being and live to 100 years old and to think about the things that he has seen in his life. Seriously, you're born in 1921 and you live through everything from television, color television, black and white movies with no sound, to the talkies, to IMAX, to the internet, to a man on the moon, the Mars rover. I mean, it's just, the wars that we've seen, the inventions that we've seen. It's hard to imagine all of the change that he's experienced in the 100 years he's been alive. It's remarkable. So, let's see. My niece, nephew, sister-in-law all made cards for him and we had so much fun. See, that's why I love putting these card things up for you guys, because it gives you something to do with kids. And, it takes 5 minutes, to just write a little note, to get a card, put a stamp on it, put it in the mail. But I don't know about you guys, but you guys know I love getting mail. And, when you get birthday cards or Valentine's Day cards, like all of those things were always a big deal in my family growing up. And I just think it's really sweet. Like, it's nice when people post on your Facebook wall or they send you a Bitmoji on your phone on your birthday. But when you get a birthday card in the mail and the person took the time to sit down and address the envelope and write a little note in there, I just think it's really sweet. And more wars than anyone wants to see. Exactly, Brianna. I mean, he's lived through so much. He really loved the ones that the kids sent. Yeah, that's the stuff I'm talking about. So I love, when we get asked to help send birthday cards to people that are getting to these amazing ages, because little kids love making birthday cards for people. Like, of course they do, because little kids love birthdays. I fucking love birthdays. I threw a party for my dog on the internet. Give me a break. The handmade cards from the kids are always the best. Love those. Exactly. So I want to let everybody know with the Mistress Carrie Backstage Pass, I talked about it earlier. We're going to do the live stream on Sunday night. So join me Sunday night at 7:30. There's a ton of stuff going on. There's more and more events coming up all the time. I have a plan in place that I'm working on. And I want to talk to everybody with the Backstage Passes about it first, run some ideas by you guys, but I'm definitely looking forward. I'm not looking forward to the fall because I don't want to rush through the summer, but I'm looking ahead and looking at some things in the second half of the year and into early next year that we could start doing together. So there's definitely a lot of stuff in the works, which is awesome. I'm really excited about a lot of this. So I loved his reaction every time he got cards, says Michelle. That's fantastic. I agree. I always send cards. It's more special than text. Exactly. The fire department brought out their old fire engine. No way. Really? Oh, that's so cool. Shh, it's a secret, Jonathan. Yeah. Like, Who doesn't want fire trucks? That's why when I interviewed Amy Lee and Lizzie Hale, and Amy Lee from Evanescence said that her birthday was going to be in December around the date of the DCU Center concert, the first thing I thought of was we need to get fire trucks there because fire trucks make everything better. They're fun. They make a lot of noise. They got blinky lights. A lot of time they got hot firemen on them. I'm just saying. Oh, it's really cold tonight. I know that ice can't get colder, but for some reason tonight, Moscow Mule is ice cold. It's making my teeth cold. All right, here's all the places you can find me on social. You guys know these by now, but I just put them up there in case anybody's new to the War Room and you're looking for me online. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Cameo, YouTube, and on Patreon as well. So, thank you all, and thank you to the extended family. Yeah, Michelle, you know what? That's what we're here for. Like, that stuff makes me happy when you guys say, hey, you know what? I want to put something like this together. We can't do it for everybody's birthday. Like, you turn 37, like, you got to get to the big numbers, you know, the round numbers. You got to get to those, and then we can help make something special out of it. So, I'm glad that he enjoyed it. Guys, don't forget, the podcast goes live at midnight. Super excited about this one. You guys you're going to hear two things. Dean DeLeo has a great laugh and it's infectious. And I love people that when you talk to them are like willing to laugh. You know what I mean? That like, they're just genuinely relaxed and they're having a good time and they're just laughing. And he tells a really funny story about Tom Petty. And he does a pretty good Tom Petty impression. And I think you guys are going to like it. I don't want to say any more. We'll talk about it next week on the show. But those were just some of the standout moments that he talked about. And so I want you guys to be able to check it out. Episode 58 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight. Ice freezes at 32, but you can get it colder. I know, especially if it's salt water and whatever. And the copper mug helps keep everything cold, but it just seems colder tonight. Oh my God, just read the dictionary. Keith says, yeah. Penny says, can't wait for this one. It's raining here in Groton, Connecticut, where I'm working, says Keith. Yeah, I mean, look, the East Coast is getting too much rain and the West Coast is literally scorching. So, and having earthquakes and there's hurricanes going down in the Gulf. And I mean, it's just, the weather is nuts everywhere. And, you know, when you get this much rain and then it finally dries out, the grass, it's like a little shop of horrors outside. Everybody's lawns are like 3 feet tall right now. So I can imagine the places that fix lawnmowers are going to be incredibly busy over the next couple weeks. Typo, everyone drink needs to be added. Ooh, Mark, do me a favor. Will you message me either through the Backstage Pass or through the website? Because so many of these comments go through that I can't find your suggestions for the dictionary when I go looking for them after the fact. So send it to me a different way so that I can go in and put it in there. I knew there's some stuff that I missed and it drives me crazy. So yeah, when there's typos, you get to drink, and you guys pay very close attention to the screen so that when you find my typos that you guys have to do a social. So let's see, better than the burnt lawns over the last summer. I mean, well, look, what was it? Like the middle of May, we hit 100 degrees and everybody's lawns got scorched. Then it was like 45 degrees over Memorial Day weekend. And now it's like constant torrential downpours. So my poor garden, like my tomato plants are like, can I just have some sun and some heat, please? If you guys are talking about the dictionary, I put the link up right on the Facebook page. It's the last post that I made before the show started tonight. Let's see. My lawn is ridiculous right now, growing faster and then it dries so I can cut it. Exactly. I know. So that's it. That's what's going on. So I hope you guys come and join me next Saturday at United Cultivation in Ashby. That's going to be a good time. Cornhole tournament. I'll be out there for a couple hours. There's lots going on. These events are going to start popping up all the time. I can't wait to be able to meet you guys, see you, and just to be able to get out. And like, it was so crazy. The DJ welcome party the other night, I was seeing people that listened to me on the radio and they didn't even know about the podcast and they didn't know about the War Room because they either don't have social media or they don't pay a lot of close attention to it. And so they were listening to the radio and they're like, wait, what have you been doing? And oh, you have a podcast? Wait, you have a website? Like, it's so crazy that a year and a half after AAF went off the air, people are just getting connected with the stuff that we've all been doing together for the last 18 months. Like, you guys know everything. But it's crazy to me that as I'm going out and talking to people, they don't know about the podcast. Like, everybody's been living in their little bubbles because of COVID and work and family and just everything else. And so I'm really excited that now that the world is opening back up and I'm able to go out and talk to people, that it's going to bring more people into the war room and that it's going to bring more people to the podcast and to the website and then to the radio shows and to the events. It's just going to be a blast. There's a contact link at mistresscarrie.com. Melissa, you're right. If you go to mistresscarrie.com, in the top right-hand corner, it says contact, and you can send me a direct message straight through the website. What's up, Michael? Liz says, thank you. Mother Nature is bipolar and menopausal. Let's see. So, yeah, that's what's going on, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Rachel, thank you for my fuck you socks. Hold on, I'll show you guys one more time. Fuck off socks. Fucking great. Oh, I can't wait for you guys to hear this week's episode of the podcast. I'll be back on the radio tomorrow, and all is right with the world. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Wednesday says goodnight, and the new episode of the podcast goes live at midnight. You guys rock. For everybody with the backstage passes, I will see you on Sunday, and go support your local record store this weekend. Just like with your local radio stations, if you don't support them, we could lose them, and you don't want to lose your local record stores. So I will see you guys later. Good night.